This is Nick Geyer, the Palouse Pundit, talking about document fundamentalism. At Tea Party gatherings, pocket constitutions are handed out as eagerly as the Gideons distribute New Testaments on campuses every year. The message is clear: read God's Word and you will be redeemed, or read the Constitution and the country will be saved. In each case, there are those who will very confidently tell you what the text's original intent and meaning is. With regard to biblical interpretation, my all-time favorite example is the meaning of the Whore of Babylon in the book of Revelation. Staying within the historical context of the text, serious scholars are divided on whether her identity is Rome or Jerusalem. In his nastic polemics, Martin Luther was certain that she was the Catholic Church. More recent candidates have been the Soviet Union and Hillary Clinton. A text that can give so many readings is obviously a document subject to historical context and the individual's worldview. A biblical passage that most pertains to constitutional rights is the one that states that human beings are created in the image of God. Nowhere in the Bible is this concept explained. Indeed, it is rarely mentioned. Early church fathers fell back on Greek philosophy for the meaning that humans are created as moral and rational beings. With the rise of liberal democracy, Christian theologians argued that the biblical view of human nature supported the principle of equality and the intrinsic value of every single individual. We now have archaeological evidence that shows that this is not the original meaning of the Hebrew phrase. This inscription is in Aramaic, later to become Jesus' own language. The exact linguistic equivalent of, quote, likeness and image of God here means that Adam and Eve are God's sole representatives on earth, standing as a king would to his subjects, ruling them by divine right. Jurists such as Antonin Scalia, Clarence Thomas, and Robert Bork insist on following the original meaning of the Constitution, but they do not always agree. Some originalists believe that the authors of the 14th Amendment would not have supported school desegregation, but Bork strongly disagrees. With regard to abortion, originalists demand to know where one can find the right to privacy in the Constitution. But then where does it say that corporations are legal persons? This was the assumption used by conservatives to decide this year that corporations should not be limited in their support for political campaigns. At the time of the nation's founding, personhood was limited to human beings and God. Originalists also argue that foreign laws should not be used as legal guides, but they do allow reference to English common law. With regard to abortion, these jurists then would be bound by the English law that abortion was not murder until the fetus, quote, had quickened in the womb, a position very similar to the majority in Roe v. Wade. Returning to the parallel between legal and biblical originalism, I want to point out an interesting irony. Judges who are nominated to serve on our courts are expected to have the best legal education and to have displayed excellence in their legal profession. Many conservative Christians, however, have nothing but disdain for scholars who have spent their lives learning difficult languages and/or laboring in archaeological sites searching for the original meanings of biblical texts. There is at least consistency, but certainly no virtue, in those who would reject the expertise of both judges and biblical scholars. In these essential areas of our lives, they arrogate all decision-making to their own ill-informed minds. This is Nick Geyer, the Palouse Pundit, wishing you a great day.